Welcome. My name is Katie, and I'm an instructor at the Tutorium in Intensive English. Today, we will be talking about the intermediate discussion skill, making suggestions. Why is it important to be able to make suggestions in English? Let's think about this. First of all, it shows that you're listening to the discussion happening around you. And it demonstrates interest, your interest in the topic or interest in the person that you're having a discussion with. It also helps add to the discussion. So when you make a suggestion, you're adding to that discussion actively. You are an active participant. You seem more helpful when you make suggestions, and suggestions can help solve difficult problems. Let's look at two examples of a conversation. In our first example, we have Sally and Renee. Sally is feeling nervous about a presentation that she has to give in a meeting tomorrow. And Renee responds by saying that she herself is actually feeling very confident and very good about this meeting and presentation. And Sally is kind of feeling like, okay, that's good. We've all maybe felt that way when we share a vulnerability and another person doesn't kind of have that same feeling or doesn't explore our feeling. So in example 2, we see Sally has her same problem. I'm feeling very nervous about the presentation that I have to give to tomorrow. Renee now is listening to Sally. She's hearing Sally is nervous. Renee doesn't feel nervous, but she's focusing on Sally. What are you worried about, Sally? You're really good at speaking. Sally shares that she hasn't practiced enough and her delivery isn't very smooth. And now Renee offers some suggestions to Sally. Why don't you give your presentation to me during lunch today? I bet that will help. So if we look at example 2, we can see that Renee makes this helpful suggestion. Why don't you give your presentation to me during lunch today? It shows that Renee is listening to Sally, and it demonstrates her interest in Sally and in Sally's problem. And her suggestion helps add to their discussion. It's a much, more rich and vibrant discussion. And it can also show that Renee is offering help in this second example. And hopefully this suggestion helps address Sally's problem, maybe helps reduce her anxiety about this presentation a little bit. Let's look at a few more ways to give suggestions. So the first structures that we'll look at will be using questions to give suggestions. So first I can just use the question, can I make a suggestion? For example, can I make a suggestion? Practice your presentation in front of the mirror, right? Maybe Renee didn't have time to listen to Sally's presentation after lunch, but she could tell Sally, hey, why don't you practice in front of the mirror? That way you can see yourself. We can use this construction, have you plus past participle plus a gerund or maybe a prepositional phrase. For example, have you tried talking to your friend? Or have you practiced with a friend? We can use this construction, why don't plus our subject plus a base verb. For example, why don't you practice your speech in the mirror? And finally, we can use how about plus subject plus base verb, or we could use a gerund here. For example, how about we watch a movie after dinner? Or how about watching a movie after dinner? There's that gerund. In addition to making questions and making suggestions, we can also use statements to make suggestions. For example, we can use this construction, maybe plus the verb plus the subject plus the verb should or could followed by a base verb. For example, maybe we should practice the presentation one more time. Or maybe I could meet you after the presentation is over to celebrate. We can also use the expression, I have an idea. I have an idea. Meet me after class and I will tell you about it. Or let's plus base verb. For example, let's get some coffee after work today, or let's finish this later. Want to go for a walk? Get your mind off your troubles. Okay, now it is your turn to practice this skill in real life. Try making some suggestions to your friends and family when appropriate and see how it feels. The more you practice this skill, the more confident you will become. All right, good luck with your practice, and I'll see you next time.